In celebration of my Boston Celtics making the NBA Finals again, I figured I'd take this time to clear up some Tatum narratives because the discourse has gotten weird, and since we have a week between now and the finals, I know it's gonna get even weirder, so I just want to take some time to dispel some things and just hit some talking points real quick so we can set some things straight before we start the finals, just so we can all be on even footing. I've reduced it down to 3 major reasons that I just think are flatly false. Reason 1, he's always been on a super team. I love hearing that one. False. I'm not one of those people that will talk about how bad the teammates are of my star player to make them feel better. I'm not that guy. I'm not a Chicago Bulls fan. And also, I feel like we've lost the plot on super teams. If you want to be honest, there's only really been 3 super teams since the term has been invented. The big 3 in Boston, the Miami Heatles, the Kevin Durant Warriors. The KD, Kyrie, James Harden were a super team, yeah, but they only played 16 games together, so they don't count. And if you look at the rosters Tatum has had since he was a rookie, again, you're talking to someone who's watched his whole career, none of them qualify as super team status. Are they good teams? Absolutely. But super team, got a year-by-year breakdown for you. So rookie year 2017 to 2018, rookie year Jayson Tatum was 55 and 27. That was the loss in the Eastern Conference Finals against LeBron's Cavalier year. The last year he was on the Cavs, where he dunked on LeBron in the finals. And then I'll never forget Brad Stevens for not calling another play for the 19-year-old who just dunked on the best player ever, for reasons that are still unclear all these years later. I still don't have an answer for that one. But let's look at the roster. We got Gordon Hayward, who got injured 6 minutes into the first game. Kyrie Irving, who only played 60 games and didn't play a single playoff game. And the top 5 people who led the team in minutes were Jayson Tatum, Al Horford, Jaylen Brown, Terry Rozier, and Kyrie Irving, who again played 60 games. But the next year that I like to call the Celtics year from hell. 49 and 33, 4th in the Eastern Conference, lost in the Eastern Conference semifinals, and 5 games to the Milwaukee Bucks. This is the year that everyone blames Kyrie for the Celtics self-destructing, but not this guy. This guy blames Brad Stevens, and let me tell you why. Brad Stevens' lack of understanding of team chemistry is what blew this team apart. Did Kyrie make it better? No, but we'll get to Kyrie in a second. Gordon Hayward, clearly not healthy, forced him back into the starting lineup, forcing Jaylen Brown on the bench, who was clearly a better player at that point, trying to fit his minutes with Jayson Tatum's minutes, who at that point was our second best player if we didn't know it yet. Bad chemistry all around, and as a head coach, goddammit, it is your responsibility to figure that out. At the time I'm recording this, the Mavericks and T-Wolves haven't played yet, so if they make the finals, we're gonna hear all about it. But I'm one of the Celtics fans that don't hate Kyrie Irving. I've only been mad at Kyrie Irving for 3 things. Number 1, he said at the season ticket holder meeting that he wants to stay with the team. He left the next summer.
The organization and everyone else in Boston, you guys will have me back. I plan on re-signing here next year.
Boom!
So.
Number 2, he gave up during the Milwaukee Bucks season. That's not speculation, that's a fact. Go watch the series. Clearly he gave up that series. And number 3, and this kind of summarizes everything, and it's my biggest issue. He came to Boston saying he wants to lead a team. He wants to be the captain. He wants the burden of leadership and to be the number 1 option. That might be a direct quote, actually. And the moment shit hit the fan, matter of fact, I'm going to insert the exact quote here.
I wanted to be the guy that led us to championship. I wanted to be the leader. I wanted to be all that. And, you know, the responsibility of being the best player in the world and leading a team is something that's not meant for many people.
So the moment things hit the fan, Kyrie Irving tucked his tail, ran out of Boston, and he hasn't been a number 1 option since. He said, nah, too hard. I'm going to go play second fiddle to KD and now to Luka. But that's fine. That's in the past. So 2 years, no super team yet. Awesome. Now we got 2019 to 2020. The first year of no Kyrie, first year of Jayson Tatum as the number 1 option, also the bubble season. This is the first year that if you want to tell me that the Celtics should have made the finals, I feel like it's a reach, but I'm not going to argue with you. 48 and 24, 3rd in the Eastern Conference. Jayson Tatum was 23.4 points a game, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. His first All-Star appearance, first of 5 straight. 3rd team All-NBA, lost in the Eastern Conference Finals in 6 to the Miami Heat. However, if you want to blame him for that one, 26.8 points a game, led all scorers, 9.8 rebounds a game, second in rebounders behind Bam Adebayo, and 6.3 assists a game. Bringing up Bam Adebayo reminds me of the most glaring highlight from that series, and the main reason why people put the blame on Tatum was when Tatum went for a game-winning dunk on Bam Adebayo, who was 2 inches taller than him, and Bam Adebayo rejected him at the rim. Hopefully, my Boston Celtics win this title so I can erase that from my mind. Look back at that roster. First year of us getting Kemba Walker to replace Kyrie Irving. That didn't turn out the way we thought it would. Jaylen Brown starting to emerge. Still not an all-star yet. A lot of Daniel Tice minutes. Again, not a super team. 2020 to 2021. I forgot all about this year. This might have actually been the team from hell. The top 5 players in total minutes. Before I get to the record and all that. Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Kemba Walker, and Tristan Thompson. Just to give you a glimpse on how bad this season got. They were 36 and 36. Remember, this year was shortened because it was the year after the bubble and it was abbreviated. And 7th in the Eastern Conference. Lost in the first round in 5 games in the one series where that Kyrie, Harden, and KD Nets team actually all played together. Tatum that season, 26.4 points a game, 7.4 rebounds, 4.3 assists. Second straight All-Star appearance, first time as a starter. Rough year that year. But again, no goddamn super team. 2021 to 2022, 51 and 31, finished second in the Eastern Conference, made it to the finals, lost in the finals to the Golden State Warriors. Again, we'll get to the finals shortly. First team All-NBA for the first time. Third straight All-Star game, 26.9 points a game, 8 rebounds a game, 4.4 assists. Top 5 in total minutes, Jayson Tatum again. Oh, by the way, Jayson Tatum has led the team in minutes every year since he came into the league. So Jayson Tatum, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Al Horford, and Grant Williams, who has been on 3 teams in the past calendar year. Moving on, 2022 to 2023, that's last year, 57 and 25, finished second in the Eastern Conference. Lost in the Eastern Conference Finals into Miami in 7 games. Top 5 in total minutes. Actually, I went all 6. Jaylen Brown, Jayson Tatum, Derek White, Grant Williams, Marcus Smart, Al Horford, Malcolm Brogdon. Today's standards of super team, that definitely ain't no big 3 Boston, KD Warriors, or Miami Heat, but sure. Second first team All-NBA, 4th straight All-Star year, 30 points a game, 8.8 rebounds, 4.6 assists. And then we get to this season. And this one is where Tatum even said in the press conference, people keep saying we have a super team, blah, blah, blah. And even I was cringed at that. Like, Jason, why? Let me as a fan say that. You can't say that. But sure, this season, 64 and 18. First in the Eastern Conference, best record in the NBA. And I heard someone say the Celtics have been the 1 seed every single year as a way to try to discredit the playoff success that the Celtics have had because people are weird about that. This is the first and only time that a Jayson Tatum-led Celtics team has been the number 1 seed in the East. I know, fuck me up too. I've been watching 70% of his games, and even I didn't know that fact. But the 64 and 18 record that the Celtics have right now, compare that to the best of the other super teams that we mentioned earlier. The Miami Heat season, 2012, 2013, their best year, 66 and 16. They won the title. Big 3 Celtics, that first year, 2007 to 2008, 66 and 16, won the title. KD Warriors season, 2016 and 2017, 67 and 15, they won the title. This is the closest the super team status Jayson Tatum has ever been on. This team is stacked by all measures, by all accounts, and they play like it. Jayson Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Kristaps Porzingis, Derek White, Drew Holiday, Al Horford. Then you start getting into Peyton Pritchard, Sam Hauser territory, and at that point, just take your pick. And Tatum this season, since it's such a stacked roster, numbers went down, but the efficiency went up in a real way. 26.9 points a game, but on his highest field goal percentage since his rookie year, where he was taking 10 less shots a game, which is nice. Career high in assists at 4.9 assists a game, 8.1 rebounds a game, first team All-NBA for the 3rd team in a row, and 5th straight All-Star. So, super team narrative, let's squash that. That's just not true. Shout out to Brad Stevens. Shout out to Danny Ainge. Appreciate y'all. You didn't build super teams. This year's the closest though. Next narrative. He chokes in the playoffs. False again. I could list all the ridiculous Tatum stats. He has the highest amount of playoff points for a player in their 7th year, or he's played in 107 playoff games. He's 63 and 44, highest winning percentage of that type for a player that hasn't won a title yet. Career averages 24.1 points a game. If you exclude the seasons where he was not a first option on a team, 26.7, 7.9 rebounds, 4.7 assists, 50 points to win a game against the Big Three Nets. The only game in that series won where the second best player on that starting five was Tristan Thompson because everybody else was hurt, including Jaylen Brown and Marcus Smart. Again, season from hell. Don't miss that season at all. 46 points on the road, game 6 against the then defending champion Milwaukee Bucks to save our season, followed by us winning the next game and then going to the finals eventually that year, which leads us to the finals. And look, you're not going to catch me saying Tatum didn't play that bad in the finals. He did. Tatum played poorly in the finals. There's no way around that. That 21 points a game on 35% shooting, absolutely basura, right? I will say this, though. The Boston Celtics did not lose those finals because Jayson Tatum played bad. They lost those finals because Steph Curry, one of the 10 best players ever, decided, hey guys, we're not losing, and then took over. The Celtics were up 2-1 at home with a lead in the fourth quarter with Jayson Tatum playing poorly, and then Steph Curry just decided to go into GOAT mode, and it was over. There was nothing left you could do after that. They won that game and the next two, and it was done. And then the other one people can point to is going down 3-0 to the Heat last year. To that I say, one, before the series was the 51-point Game 7 against the Sixers, which is a record that still holds, by the way. 51 in the Game 7. Never been done before for Mr. Chokes in the playoffs. And won 3 straight, was in a position to come back from 3-0 for the first time ever in NBA history, turns his fucking ankle on the first play of the game. And I hate when y'all leave that out because it's so annoying. Calm down. But point still stands. The choking in the playoffs thing is just not true. I think a big thing of this is familiarity breeds contempt, right? So the Tatum and Brown duo have been together for 7 years, 545 games played, 360 total wins is the second most in that time span. Top 5 is the Bucks, Celtics, Nuggets, 76ers, and Clippers. None of those teams have a duo that's been together, with the exception of Giannis and Middleton, but that's not really a duo, and that's not the duo that won him a chip. Drew Holiday and Giannis was. Tatum and Brown being together is the longest a duo has been together, with the exception of the Warriors trio. Just pick 2 out of Steph, Clay, and Draymond. They've been together forever. And all the teams that have won rings recently are teams who have made a major move added to their team, and then they ended up winning because of it, because that's the new player empowerment era way of winning championships. And I'm not mad at that, but the thing is, the Celtics way of a team keeping on going to the playoffs, losing once or twice or 3 times or 4 times, whatever, and then finally getting over the hump prior to 2010 is kind of the way it worked. We're holding the Celtics to a different standard because the modern NBA doesn't look like what the Celtics are doing as far as keeping the duo together and building around them until we get the product we're actually looking for. Which is why every single summer or every time the Celtics go on a 2-game losing streak, it's, well, maybe we should break them up. No, you shouldn't. Keep them together. And then lastly is like the general Twitter troll diatribe. He's overhyped / insert player here is better. Whenever anyone goes on a run, it's someone's better. Jalen Brunson, SGA, Anthony Edwards. Hell, even when Jaylen Brown hit the game winner against the Pacers game 1? Game 1. It was, are we sure Jaylen Brown isn't the best player on the Celtics takes? It's just night after night of, is such and such better than Jayson Tatum? Which I said in a prior podcast that to me, that just says that we all acknowledge that Jayson Tatum is the standard for great players, which is why y'all keep comparing people to him. I decided I'm going to take my bias out of it, and I'm going to rank who I think are the top 10 players in the league. If you're watching the video, they should be appearing on the screen now. If you're listening, number 1, I got Nikola Jokic. Number 2, Luka Doncic. Number 3, Giannis Antetokounmpo. Number 4, Jayson Tatum. Number 5, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Number 6, Anthony Edwards. Number 7, Joel Embiid. Number 8, Jalen Brunson. Number 9, Steph Curry. Number 10, LeBron James. You could tell me to flip Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Anthony Edwards, and 7 through 10, flip it however you want. I don't care. But that top 4 is solidified for me because the players I put above Jayson Tatum are the ones that are more accomplished than him. Because you're not going to tell me a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who just made it into his first playoffs and just won his first playoff series, promptly losing in the next round, is better than Jayson Tatum. You're not going to tell me Anthony Edwards, who's in his first conference finals, is better than Jayson Tatum, who's played in 100 playoff games. Even if he does come back from down 3-0, don't care. He's not. This is a resume thing. And I also hear if you put Jayson Tatum on his own team, what would happen? And if you take him off the Celtics and put him on the Hornets, what would it be? And I've always answered the same thing. His numbers would be significantly better. He's going for 30 a night for an entire season, like you're seeing with an SGA. I don't have a doubt in my mind about that, clearly. But would he win as much? No, of course not. Because nobody wins as much without a strong second option. Like you saw, to bring up SGA again, his ass is at home right now because his second option didn't show up. Does Jokic win a championship last year if Jamal Murray doesn't show up? No. We have 3 years of evidence of Jamal Murray being injured in the playoffs that confirmed that thought. Does Giannis win a title if they didn't trade for Jrue Holiday? No, because we have all their playoff failures prior that prove that point. There are no one-man shows that win titles in the modern era of the NBA. And if I really felt like digging before this podcast was recorded, I bet you I could find examples that it's never happened in the history of the NBA. So for all of you that root for these solo stars, these solo acts, and you're just waiting for them to carry their team to a title all by themselves with no all-star, all-NBA teammates, it's not going to happen. The league doesn't work that way. Sorry to break it to you. All right, so in conclusion, so I can wrap this up. This segment already went way longer than I wanted it to. I think the Tatum disconnect comes in multiple phases. Number one, we're in a narrative over facts generation. People hear things enough times, and if they already don't like a player, they're just going to agree with it. The playoff narrative took me 2 seconds to debunk. It would have took you a Google search to debunk. Oh, and I forgot to bring this up for the finals point. I'm not hearing the finals argument if you're comparing them to players who've never been to one. I'm not hearing it. And also, nuance is dead. Outside of this podcast, there is no nuance anymore. Even as a Celtics fan and Tatum being my favorite player, I can tell y'all he's not the best player in the world. I just told y'all he's 4th. There are stand pages dedicated to players. Stand pages that are built around covering and tweeting and posting about one player. That's unfathomable to me. The level of dick riding is insane to me. And they're proud of it. Bring back to the familiarity point. As we're watching all these other stars go on these runs, it's boring sports discourse to say, oh man, SGA and Anthony Edwards are incredible. They're the 6th best player in the league. That's boring. Not great basketball discourse. I feel it. If you look at those top 3 guys, you're going to look like an idiot trying to compare them to those 3. You're trying to say, I've been using SGA a lot. We're just going to keep using them. Trying to say SGA is better than 3-time MVP, last year's finals MVP, Nikola Jokic, you look dumb. You're trying to say he's better than walking 30, 10, and 10, 5 straight first-team All-NBAs, however much it is, Luka Doncic. No. You gonna tell me he's better than 2-time MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Finals MVP, Giannis Antetokounmpo? No. And then there leaves Tatum, who doesn't have an MVP or a Finals MVP. So he looks like the easier target, but he's still much more accomplished than everybody else y'all comparing him to. And you know what? It looks just as dumb.